Welcome back, and we're going to be talking with one of our favorite guests about an extraordinary development in the past few days, and I want to give you a little context for it. Here we go. In a nomination hearing last week, Riley Barnes cited former Senator and Secretary of State Marco Rubio, quote, "We are a nation founded on a powerful principle that all men are created equal because our rights come from God, our Creator, not from our laws, not from our governments," unquote. Democratic Senator Tim Kaine, evidently unaware that this principle was explicitly enshrined in the Declaration of Independence, found that statement extremely troubling. He declared, quote, "The notion that rights don't come from laws and don't come from the government, but come from the Creator? That's what the Iranian government believes," unquote. Yesterday, President Trump sharply repudiated Kaine, saying, quote, "He should be ashamed of himself." He vowed, quote, "Under the Trump administration, we're defending our rights and restoring our identity as a nation under God. We are one nation under God, and we always will be," unquote. Amen. Well, let's take stock with all of this with our friend Rod Martin, a man of profound faith. He's been a leader of the Southern Baptist Convention for many years. He is also one of the great free-range public intellectuals of our time, chairman of the board of our Institute for the American Future, I'm proud to say, as well as a regular contributor to this program. You can follow his writings and great thinking on the Rod Martin Report at rodmartin.org, and I strongly commend you subscribe to it. Rod, welcome back, my friend. It's good to have you with us.
Great to be here.
I want to say, especially at a time such as this, what do you make of this, apparent contretemps with Tim Kaine? And Donald Trump was holding forth about it at the Museum of the Bible yesterday, as we're speaking, and he not only took Kaine to task handsomely, but he also made a pretty impressive case for the kinds of things that he's been doing to, do precisely what he talked about, shoring up this as a nation under God. And I wanted to get your thoughts on that as well.
Well, you were exactly right that Kaine ought to be ashamed, but he isn't, and he isn't going to be. And it wasn't ignorance. He knows what's in the Declaration. It's his worldview. And more precisely, it is the Marxist worldview. The Democrats have been telling you now for quite some time that they are socialists. Once upon a time, that was an epithet, and they denied it vociferously. But as we know, the DNC had to cheat Bernie Sanders to keep him from getting the nomination in 2016. AOC is a likely future presidential nominee of this party. They fully embrace socialism. They're as plain as day. So what does that mean? Well, in our conception of things, rights come from the Creator, whether you believe in the Creator or not. And I absolutely do, but it doesn't matter, because even if it's a theoretical abstraction, what it means is that rights precede government, that government exists to enforce and protect our rights, and that government does not have a right to alter them or remove them. The socialist view is exactly the opposite, that everything we have proceeds from government, that the government may take anything we have away at any time, our life, our liberty, our property. So Tim Kaine is just saying what his party has embraced, and that's the real battle in America today. It's not ours versus D's. It's two absolutely distinct worldviews in combat, and only one can win. So, that's what we're fighting. Do you really have rights at all? Or do you only have the rights Tim Kaine says you have so long as he decides you may have them?
Yeah. And Rod, what do you say in response to this suggestion that people who hold such views about our rights coming from our Creator and being unalienable are actually really just, like those Iranian mullahs who have a similar view of, a theocratic regimen for their country.
Well, the irony is rich because the Ayatollah doesn't believe we have any of those rights. The Ayatollah is a dictator who just absolutely embodies Tim Kaine's vision of the world. Just, the details differ, but the absolutism of his theocratic state, and by theocratic, we don't really mean Allah is the king of Iran. We mean the Ayatollah is the king of Iran. And that's exactly how all of these societies have worked all through history. The king is the law, rex lex. And that's exactly what our English forebears repudiated with Samuel Rutherford and others. Of course, Rutherford wrote lex rex, the law is king. And that's the founding principle of America, that we are all subject to law, and that law ultimately derives from the rights God has given us that government may not infringe and must enforce and protect.
And so, Rod, this brings me to that litany that the president laid out. He is seriously pursuing the restoration of, the protection of our First Amendment freedoms, and particularly the first of those, the freedom of religion. And I must say, listening to him, deliver a litany of initiatives to that end, I was so gratified and thankful, truly thankful to God that he is in fact the man running things and not the alternative, which pretty much was indistinguishable, wasn't it, from the Kainian approach. I want to turn to a different topic, though, before we run out of time. You've written at your rodmartin.org site a very important piece about something else that the Democrats have been up to, which sounds to me like, criminal activity. It's called ActBlue. Tell us what that is and what we now know about it and what might come of the investigations into it.
ActBlue is the single most important fundraising component of the Democrat ecosystem. They have raised over $17.5 billion for Democrat candidates and causes. It's an online service that has powered the Democratic cause for a very long time, and yes, corrupt as can be. So we have a formal DOJ criminal investigation against them now. We have multiple hearings in congressional committees, 3 just in the House, and we've got 19 state attorneys general investigating them. And here's basically what they did. They reduced their fraud prevention measures to such a ridiculously low level that absolutely anybody could be sending money and they would never catch it. Now, I mean, these are fraud.
Sending money even from overseas, Rod?
Especially from overseas. And it's just egregious. These are fraud prevention measures that are routine on Amazon, on Substack for that matter, on Etsy or eBay, but not on ActBlue. Oh, goodness, no. They don't even take a CCV code. They don't do anything to verify. So there are specific cases that have been found, over 1,000 cases, in which a single straw donor, somebody frequently on a fixed income, elderly, doesn't have a lot of money, and they'll have given ActBlue $200,000, $400,000, $500,000 in small increments over a period of a few weeks. Well, that's not real. That's obviously fraudulent, and it's something that ActBlue would have caught if they wanted to catch it. What they're getting, of course, is Chinese money and other illegal money, and it's got to stop.
And Rod, to the extent that this money is being plowed into the Democratic Party's coffers, effectively, if not as a party, then as a parallel, as you say, ecosystem, who has been benefiting from this largesse, and to what effect?
Oh, goodness. The entire Democrat ecosystem has been benefiting because, as I said, this is
Meaning candidates for elective office.
candidates, but also causes, because ActBlue is in service of that entire range of things. So whatever the Democrat equivalent is of the Institute for the American Future is as likely to be benefiting as Tim Kaine. And we don't know how high up the Democrat food chain the corruption goes, but we know where the benefits go. And this is just one piece among oh so many. We know about the $2 billion that the EPA granted out to Stacey Abrams, for heaven's sake, for a brand new nonprofit that had never taken in any money, and it's just going to go do Democrat stuff corruptly with its 501c3. You've got USAID that is using its budget 3 times the size of the CIA to go out and overthrow governments and sterilize 300,000 native women in Peru, and all these transgender programs they had all over the world. These are slush funds. And there are so many of these slush funds, it's hard to wrap your brain around it. But ActBlue is one piece of it that actually has criminal ramifications, and there could actually be major Democrats who go to jail over this.
Let us hope, if they deserve to, they do. Rod Martin, I know you will be on the case, helping explicate its consequences. It's not just the news on it. I look forward to talking with you about it, and thank you for giving us this introduction to ActBlue and criminal conduct that appears to be associated with it. Come back to us soon, sir. In the meantime, keep up the great work at rodmartin.org.
You too.
Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back with more.